में उपस्थित सभी वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों, समिति के वरिष्ठ सदस्यों, मेरे दिल्ली पुलिस के साथियों, तमाम डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स और यूनिट से हमारे से जुड़े अधिकारियों और PFWS के तमाम वेलफेयर सेंटर्स से हमारे साथ जुड़े दिल्ली पुलिस परिवार सदस्यों का हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं, अभिनंदन करता हूं। आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। आज के कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा और आज के कार्यक्रम की संयुक्त अध्यक्षता कर रहे आदरणीय आयुक्त पुलिस श्री संजय अरोरा सर और आदरणीय अध्यक्षा पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति श्रीमती रितु अरोरा मैम का अब हमारे बीच आगमन हो रहा है। आप सभी से मेरा निवेदन कि एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ स्वागत करें हमारे सम्मान्य अतिथि डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी, आदरणीय आयुक्त पुलिस माननीय श्री संजय अरोरा सर और आदरणीय अध्यक्षा पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति श्रीमती रितु अरोरा मैम का स्वागत है। मैम, स्वागत है सर। आदरणीय आयुक्त पुलिस महोदय व अध्यक्षा महोदय से अनुरोध है कि वह हमारे मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी का स्वागत एक तरुण वृक्ष के साथ करें, एक प्लांटर देकर आज उनका हमारे कार्यक्रम में स्वागत करें। और आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ उनका अभिनंदन करें। धन्यवाद। डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी से निवेदन है कि वो कृपया मंच पर अपना सम्मानित स्थान ग्रहण करें। वह आदरणीय आयुक्त महोदय व आदरणीय अध्यक्षा महोदय से अनुरोध है कि वह सभागार में सामने की ओर अपना सम्मानित स्थान ग्रहण करने की कृपा करें। सर प्लीज। आज के कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता संयुक्त रूप से आदरणीय आयुक्त दिल्ली पुलिस श्री संजय अरोरा सर व आदरणीय अध्यक्षा पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति श्रीमती रितु अरोरा मैम कर रही हैं, क्योंकि यह सत्र भी दिल्ली पुलिस के अधिकारियों के साथ साथ दिल्ली पुलिस परिवारों के लिए विशेष तौर से रखा गया है। पुलिस अधिकारियों की जीवन शैली बहुत कठिन रहती है और ऐसे में स्वयं को सही रखते हुए परिवार व समाज दोनों के प्रति अपने कर्तव्यों का निर्वहन करना कदाचित बहुत कठिन प्रतीत होता है। और जितना कठिन यह पुलिस अधिकारियों के लिए है, उससे भी कठिन अक्सर उनके परिवार के सदस्यों के लिए रहता है। और इसीलिए महोदय, आज के इस सभागार में उपस्थित पुलिस अधिकारियों के अतिरिक्त दिल्ली पुलिस के सभी जिले व इकाइयों से पुलिस अधिकारी और पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति के 12 कल्याण केंद्रों से सैकड़ों पुलिस परिवार सदस्य हमारे साथ वेबएक्स के माध्यम से सीधे जुड़े हुए हैं। इसके अतिरिक्त इस कार्यक्रम का सीधा प्रसारण PFWS के YouTube चैनल व फेसबुक पेज के माध्यम से तथा दिल्ली पुलिस के फेसबुक पेज और YouTube चैनल के माध्यम से भी किया जा रहा है। आज के कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी, जो कि MD FACP यानी फेलोशिप इन द अमेरिकन कॉलेज ऑफ फिजिशियन, FRCP फेलोशिप इन द रॉयल कॉलेज ऑफ फिजिशियंस होने के साथ साथ चोपड़ा ग्लोबल और चोपड़ा फाउंडेशन के संस्थापक भी हैं और पिछले 30 वर्षों से लगातार स्वास्थ्य व ध्यान के क्षेत्र में कार्य करते हुए अनेकों पुस्तकें लिख चुके हैं और लगातार निरंतर लोगों के जीवन में सकारात्मक परिवर्तन करने के लिए कार्यरत हैं। मैं डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे कृपया पुलिस अधिकारियों व पुलिस परिवारों को संबोधित करें। एक बार जोरदार करतल ध्वनि से स्वागत कीजिए डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी का। डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी, प्लीज वेलकम ऑन द माइक एंड प्रोसीड विद योर सेशन सर।
जय हिंद। धन्यवाद। मुझे माफ़ कीजिए, मेरी अंग्रेज़ी अच्छी नहीं है। मैं यहाँ left India 53 years ago, so my thought process is mostly in English, but very grateful to be with all of you and very grateful to Commissioner of Delhi Police, Shri Sanjay Arora and Srimati Ritu Arora. Thank you for having me, and I'm very privileged to be with all of you. So I was asked to speak about stress management and kya hota hai stress and how do we manage it and why is it such a big epidemic at the moment in the world. So आप अगर statistics देखें तो the number one pandemic of our time is not COVID-19. The number one pandemic of our time is the perception of threat. जब इंसान threat feel करता है, interpretation of threat, whether it is psychological threat, emotional threat, physical threat, then the experience we have is called stress. So stress is not in the environment. Stress is not in you as either. Stress is your interpretation of what is happening to you. Stress is the memory of trauma. So कभी बचपन में या कभी even womb में, uterus में, या according to our Vedic knowledge, even stress of our ancestors results epigenetically. Epigenetically means it modifies the activity of our genes into what we call the stress response. So जब stress होता है, when we get that stress response, there are two areas of our brain that get activated. So अगर आप मेरा, you look at my hand right now, this is a good handy model of the brain. This is your cerebral cortex, your brain, which is the intellectual brain. यहाँ जब reflection करते हैं, ध्यान करते हैं, meditation करते हैं, mindfulness, विपासना करते हैं, तो ये part हमारा जो brain है, जिसको intellectual brain कहते हैं, ये activate हो जाता है. This brain is about 4 million years old in evolution. अगर आप मेरा हाथ देखें, यहाँ जहाँ मेरा thumb है, this is the emotional brain. So the emotional brain is not found in reptiles. It is only found in mammals. Mammals are so called because of the word mama or mata. Mama means mata, mother, breast. And so unlike reptiles, mammals, which means us and monkeys and primates and rabbits and anything that has a womb, that brain is only present in mammals. It's not present in reptiles. जब हमारा emotional brain is functioning properly, then automatically we feel empathy. Empathy means we feel what other people feel. Automatically, if this brain is functioning properly, we feel compassion, which means the desire to alleviate other people's suffering, because when we alleviate other people's suffering, our suffering also alleviates. So empathy is feeling what other people feel. Then compassion is a consequence of that, the desire to alleviate suffering. And compassion leads to joy and peace, and what we call equanimity, what the Buddhists call the divine emotions. And ultimately that leads to what we call love, but love not just as an idea, love in action, what we call karma yoga. And that is the key to managing stress. If you want to alleviate somebody's stress, then you have to practice love in action. Love without action is meaningless, and action without love is irrelevant. But when there is love in action, what we call karma yoga, then everybody wants to help, to get involved. So as I was coming to this event, and I forgot to thank Suman wherever she is. Suman, she organized this whole lecture. Deputy Commissioner, thank you for having me here. So when I was coming here, I was reflecting on my first, experience with stress management. And it was in the early 80s. I was at a conference at Harvard. And at that time, I was very close to my guru, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who brought transcendental meditation to the world. So we were having a conference on stress. And jab everybody left, he called me and he whispered in my ear, he said, "Ye kya cheez hai stress? What is this stress?" So I said, "Maharishi ji, this is it's defined as the perception of threat." And he thought for a little bit. He said, "You mean resistance to existence?" And it was a beautiful expression. When you resist what is happening in the moment, then there is stress. Okay. When you go with what is happening in the moment, that is called flow. So the great yogis and the great traditions of India, they say the only way to never experience stress is to be totally present in the moment and be in touch not with your mind but with your soul, your spirit, जिसे हम कहते हैं आत्मा दर्शन. आत्मा विचार, आत्मा darshan is the solution to stress, not the mind, because the mind is the cause of stress. So you cannot cure something that is already a product of the mind through the mind. I hope this is clear. If the mind creates our problems, then the mind is not the solution to our problems. Only a deeper level of awareness, which we call, whatever you want to call it, deep awareness, fundamental reality, soul, Jivatman, connection to your spirit, that is the only solution to stress. So I want to ask you a question just now, and the question is, so far what I've said, is it making sense? So far, right? Be a little enthusiastic. Please say yes loudly. Okay. So now let me ask you the same question, but please don't answer it till I raise my hand. Everybody clear? I'm asking you the same question, but please don't answer it till I raise my hand. So far, is this conversation making any sense to you? So the question is the mind. The answer is the mind. In between is you, which is not the mind. Okay? You are not the mind. The mind is an object of experience. The mind is an object. जिसे हम कहते हैं मन, बुद्धि, अहंकार, mind, intellect, ego. In our yogic tradition, that is called the subtle body. Mind, intellect, and ego. So mind is that domain of awareness where we experience thoughts, feelings, emotions, imagination. That's the mind. The mind then gives rise to what we call the intellect. And the sum total of the intellect and mind, which we identify with, is our ego, ahankar. So mind, intellect, and ego appears on the screen of our consciousness. Consciousness is Jivatman. Mind, intellect, ego appears on the screen of consciousness. तो इसको आयुर्वेद में, योगिक traditions में कहते हैं सूक्ष्म शरीर. And this projects at this body. this body, which is called Sthul Sharir. Sthul Sharir means prana, which is energy, and it is also called Annamaya Kosha because it is derived from food. This is the food body. Also in yogic tradition, this body is called the karmic body. Karmic body, it is the projection of the subtle bodies. जो सूक्ष्म शरीर है वो प्रोजेक्ट करता है as our स्थूल शरीर, and स्थूल शरीर interacts with the environment, which is also energy and matter. So this body is energy and matter, and the universe we experience is also energy and matter. But this is a projection according to yoga and also according to Ayurveda. This is a projection. This Sthul Sharir is a projection of Sukshma Sharir, the subtle body, which is a combination of mind, intellect and ego. None of this is you. None of this is you. This is a projection. And this is a karmic projection. Karmic projection, that's why this body is also called the karmic body or the conceptual body. Conceptual, because it's a concept. This is a concept. So is the universe, a concept of the mind, intellect, ego. If you close your eyes, अगर आप अभी आंखें बंद करके कुछ भी नहीं करें, just sit there with your eyes closed, आप realize करेंगे कि आप अपने से बात कर रहे हैं. You're having a conversation with yourself. जब भी आप eyes close करते हैं, you become conscious कि there is something happening called internal dialogue. You're speaking to yourself. कौन बात कर रहा है किससे? आप बात कर रहे हैं अपने आप से. इसको हम कहते हैं इंटरनल डायलॉग. ये इंटरनल डायलॉग इज अ रिजल्ट ऑफ पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड द इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस. वंस अगेन, जो अपना इंटरनल डायलॉग है, इट इज पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन ऑफ पास्ट एक्सपीरियंसेस. That is called karma. Karma is very simple. It is the memory or sanskara of past experience. And that internal dialogue is projecting as this body. So if your past experience is trauma, then the body does not feel good. If the past experience is joy or happiness, then the body feels good. All you have to do is remember a joyful experience from your childhood, from your parents, from your brothers and sisters, your friendships. Remember a past experience that was joyful, and you'll see your body will feel pleasant. Think of a past experience that was traumatic, and your body will feel unpleasant. In other words, your body is the projection of your past experiences, karma, and interpretation of past experiences, and then what follows that, vasana, sanskara, karma, it's all connected. That is why this is the body, that is the recycling of karma. तो trauma जब होता है और उसकी memory dominate करती है, that creates what we call the stress response. Okay, जो स्ट्रेस रिस्पॉन्स है वो कंट्रोल होता है फ्रॉम अ डिफरेंट पार्ट ऑफ द ब्रेन. अब आपको इमोशनल ब्रेन बताया. इफ़ आई लिफ्ट माई हैंड हियर, यहाँ जहाँ मेरा थंब है ये मिड ब्रेन है, रेप्टिलियन ब्रेन है. सो स्ट्रेस इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ रेप्टिलियन ब्रेन एंड ट्रॉमेटिक इमोशनल ब्रेन. Memory of trauma and reptilian brain, when they get activated, and reptilian brain is 300 million years old. Emotional brain is 100 million years old. Intellectual brain is only 4 million years old. So even though we want to be rational, we want to know what is the best way to do things, we want to be compassionate, the memory of trauma and the reptilian brain take over because they are much older. 300 million years and 100 million years, they override the intellectual brain. We know that we don't need to be stressed. We know that we need to be healthy. We know that we need to have love and compassion and joy and equanimity and love and action. We know all that. But it is overridden by the traumatic emotional brain and reptilian brain. Now, iska function tha. At some point, this was very necessary. जब हम जंगल में थे और there was a tiger or a lion who wanted to eat us up, then the reptilian brain helped us. It's called fight or flight. But now, fight flight comes middle of a traffic jam, or fight flight comes if somebody says something rude to you, or fight flight comes you read the news, or fight flight comes when there is war and trauma and crime, and then that recycles. And that recycles as distress. So जब COVID-19 pandemic was at its peak, हमारी foundation, we were doing research, and we found that there were people who had the infection, but they were not getting sick. They did not have the mortality or the morbidity. They were not getting very drastically sick or ill, and they were not having the mortality, which means they were not dying. And yet there were a majority of people who were getting quite sick and quite dying, both elderly but also young populations. And what did we find through our artificial intelligence deep analysis? What we found is everybody who got severely sick or who died had an overactive reptilian and traumatic emotional response. And this was accompanied by inflammation. Inflammation means body was on fire, inflamed, agni, sari body mein. And this inflammation, the combination of stress and depression, was what was causing the morbidity and the mortality. And this has been studied now scientifically. कि जब we feel depressed, anxious, guilty, shameful, then we have depletion of energy, which is called depression. So what is anger? What is hostility? It is the memory of trauma. जब आपको एकदम गुस्सा आता है, it is because of a past traumatic experience, not the present moment. Present moment may precipitate it, but what brings the anger out is the memory of a past experience of trauma. Anger is the memory of trauma. Hostility, which is a very dangerous emotion, is the desire for revenge. So even anger sometimes is okay, but when you have hostility, when you have the desire for revenge, it creates a lot of inflammation in the body. Very toxic. In fact, hostility is considered a major risk factor for premature death from heart attack. Hostility, not necessarily anger. What is anxiety? What is fear? It is the anticipation of trauma in the future because of the memory of trauma in the past. And then if you feel guilty about it, you blame yourself. You say it was my fault. And guilt is also a very toxic emotion. It leads to humiliation. And then the depletion of energy, जो जब प्राणा की उसकी exhaust हो जाता है, that is called depression. And this combination of guilt, trauma, hostility, anger and fear all of it is called stress. And stress results in an overactive reptilian brain and a dysfunctional emotional brain. So how do we counteract this? As I said, you cannot counteract this through the mind, because the mind is the cause of all of this. You have to go to a deeper level. So जो deeper level है वो है आपका जो हम कहते हैं जीवात्मा. And जीवात्मा is between your thoughts, between every thought, between every perception, between every feeling, between every image, between every breath is Jivatma. It is the space between thoughts, the space between perception, the space between imagination, the space between emotions is where Atman exists. So जब मैंने आपसे कहा, is this making sense to you? I had you pause. Before the question was answered, I said, stop. Just stop. And you can do that anytime. So आप, जैसे आप मुझे, you're listening to me, keep listening to me, but also be aware of yourself. Try it right now. This silence is also presence. It's also awareness. And it is Jivatma. It is present in every space between every experience. Between every experience. In fact, experience is not possible unless Jivatma is present. But it gets overshadowed by the experience. So instead of being overshadowed by the experience, you go to the level which is beyond experience. So इसको अपने कल्चर में, वैदिक कल्चर में इसको आकाश भी कहते हैं. आकाश, 3 तरह के आकाश. एक आकाश है जिसे कहते हैं भूत आकाश. ये this space between us. This is called physical space. The space between you and me. The space between these chairs. The space between you and other people. The space in this room and outside this space. So this space right in front of you, which is called Bhutakash, is connected to infinite space. This space right in front of you is connected to infinite space, to intergalactic space. If you want to get in touch with infinity, you don't have to go far. Be aware of the space here. अगर आप जैसे मुझे देख रहे हैं अभी, देखिए, पर इस स्पेस में थोड़ी अटेंशन दें. और आप इस स्पेस में थोड़ी अटेंशन दें, सब शांत हो जाएगा. बिकॉज ये स्पेस कभी नहीं चेंज हुई. It has always been there. It is the immeasurable potential and the witness of everything that happened, everything that is happening, everything which will happen. This space right now, which we call physical space, Bhutakash. There's another Akash, Chitakash. Chitakash is mental space. So mental space में क्या होता है? Thoughts, feelings, imagination, fear, anxiety, pleasure, pain. वो mental space जिसे हम कहते हैं चिताकाश, वो इस space के साथ linked है. But subtle space है, mental space है. अगर उसके भी beyond जाए, उसे कहते हैं महादाकाश, महाआकाश. Mahakash is both Chitakash and Bhutakash together as entangled or what we call interdependent reality. In Mahadakash, is what we call Atman. And Atman is connected to Brahman. And Brahman manifests as what we call Brahmand. Brahman is the infinite Mahadakash, which contains Chitakash, Bhutakash, which is projecting as the universe, which contains not only human beings but plants and rocks and bacteria and COVID and everything all at the same time. And it is evolving without any help. This Chitakash and beyond Mahadakash is a field of infinite possibilities. Infinite means infinite. No limitation. It is a field of infinite correlation. Everything is connected to everything else. It is a field of infinite creativity. And it is from here that the universe is evolving as Brahmand, Brahman, manifesting as the entire universe. And not only this universe, but maybe other universes. Yog Vashisht mein, if you read, there's a verse by the great yogi, Vashisht. He says, infinite universes come and go in the vast expanse of consciousness, Mahadakash. And when we flow with that, there is no stress, there is only joy. And so the answer to mental distress, the answer to stress is not the mind, it is joy. जिसे कहते हैं आनंदा शक्ति, क्रिया शक्ति, इच्छा शक्ति. That is the Shakti that emerges from Purusha, which is the infinite being. Shiva and Shakti go together in the manifestation, and these are symbolic representations of what we cannot imagine. We cannot imagine the infinite. It is impossible, because infinite has no form. It is impossible to imagine. So we conceptualize it. We conceptualize it, God, forces of nature, all of that. But if we settle in this place, which is the formless, irreducible, fundamental reality, then we are not only holy, we are healed. Rabindranath Tagore once said, in this playhouse of infinite forms, I caught sight of the formless. Only the formless is real. Everything that has form comes and goes. Thoughts come and go, feelings come and go, emotions come and go, body comes and goes, but the formless is always there. So the solution to joy, Ananda Shakti, Kriya Shakti means no karma, just do what needs to be done, leaving the results to the unknown. So Kriya Shakti is also Karma Yoga. Kriya Shakti, Ichha Shakti. Ichha, spontaneous fulfillment of desire by going to the source of all experience. So I would like to conclude my lecture right now by taking you through a little exercise, little meditation, and I hope this will help. And then if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. So please close your eyes, aankhein band kare. Put your feet on the ground, keep your hands open, and please close your eyes. And first, just bring your awareness to your breath. अपनी awareness जो है, उसको अपने सांस के साथ मिला दीजिए. जो आपका माइंड है, उसको डायरेक्ट कीजिए ब्रेथ पे. ये सबसे पहली विपासना थी. जब भगवान बुद्ध observed his breath, जब उन्होंने अपना ब्रेथ को देखा, सेंस किया, उन्हें बड़ी रियलाइजेशन आई. एक रियलाइजेशन थी इम्परमानेंस, कि जो भी उठता है वो whatever arises, it also subsides. Breath is an example. From the breath we derive the law of impermanence. Breath arises, we experience it, it subsides. And this is true of everything, thoughts, feelings, emotions. We have to understand that we cannot hold on to that which is impermanent. If you hold on to your breath, you will suffocate. But if you hold on to anything, you will suffocate. So यहाँ भगवान बुद्ध कहते हैं, let go and flow. If you let go and flow, there is no stress. So just observe the breath and flow with it. Let your mind sink into your breath. जो आपका मन है, let it submerge into your breath. And now bring your awareness to your heart. अपनी awareness जो है, awareness जीवात्मा है. जब मैं कहता हूँ awareness, it means जीवात्मा. So bring your awareness to your heart. और अपने heart से पूछें, who am I? What am I? Don't try to answer it. Just ask the question. कौन हूँ मैं? क्या हूँ मैं? Am I the changing body? Or am I the awareness in which the changing body is an experience? Am I the changing mind? Or am I the awareness, the Jivatman, in which the mind is a changing experience? Emotions are a changing experience. Which is more real? The changing experience or the awareness, the Jivatman in which all this is happening? अपने से पूछें. And now let's move to the second question. Again, keep your awareness in your heart and question पूछें. What do I want? What is my deepest desire? मैं क्या चाहता हूँ? What is my deepest desire? Do not try to answer the question. Just be aware of any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought. And when it comes, notice it. That's all. And then let it go also. What do I want? What do I want? And now the third question. What is my purpose? What is my dharma? क्या धर्म है मेरा? इस मोमेंट में, इस हिस्टोरिकल मोमेंट में, मैं पुलिस ऑफिसर, क्या धर्म है मेरा? What is my calling? पूछिए अपने आप से, अपने दिल से. Once again, do not try to answer the question. Just be aware of any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought. Notice it and let it go. क्या धर्म है मेरा? And now fourth and final question, what am I grateful for? ये जो gratitude जो कहते हैं, जिस जो feeling है of gratitude, of gratefulness, ये window है अपनी जीवात्मा की. What am I grateful for? Allowing any sensation, any image, any feeling, any thought to come to you. ठीक है, ये जो हमने एक्सरसाइज अभी की है इसको कहते हैं आत्मा विचार. आत्मा विचार. अब इसको सब छोड़ दें और just repeat your name to yourself. Just first name is enough. I am Deepak, I am Suman, I am Ritu. और जैसे आप रिपीट कर रहे हैं अपना नाम, रिमाइंड योरसेल्फ, ये मेरा नाम है, ये मैं नहीं हूँ. दिस इज माई नेम, दिस इज नॉट हु आई एम. तो नाम को ड्रॉप कर दीजिए. इंस्टेड ऑफ सेइंग आई एम सुमन और आई एम ब्रिज, जस्ट से आई एम, मैं हूँ. No name, no history, no karma. अब instead of saying I am or मैं हूँ, replace it with a mantra. In this case, mantra is aham. Aham simply means I exist. ये vibration है existence की, aham. Mentally. आपका mind distract होगा, bring it back to the mantra. And let's do this now for about 3 or 4 minutes. आंखें बंद करके मंत्र repeat करें. aham, aham, without moving your lips or your tongue. Please don't mind the time. I will tell you after 3 minutes. aham, aham. Now release the mantra. मंत्र को भी छोड़ दें और विश्राम करें, रेस्ट करें अपनी प्रेजेंस में. रेस्ट in your own presence. Be one with Jivatman. Be one with who you are. ये fundamental reality है. This is who we are. Awareness. इस awareness की, इस जीवात्मा की कोई शेप नहीं है, कोई कलर नहीं है, कोई साउंड नहीं है, ये टाइम में नहीं है, ये इटर्नल है. भगवान श्री कृष्ण कहते हैं, water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it, weapons cannot shatter it, fire cannot burn it. It is eternal, it is not subject to birth or death. So just rest in your own presence and be free. There is no stress here. अब रिलैक्स कीजिए अपनी बॉडी में, एंड जब when you're ready, please open your eyes. So thank you, dhanyavad. The cure for stress is Ananda Shakti and nothing more. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
There are some questions for our police officers and family members. If you allow us, I can
Please.
show you one by one. We can also have live questions from our WebEx participants that we will take later on. First, we have shared a number with our participants and they have sent their questions in advance, sir, so that time is not wasted. So I'll read it for you. In today's time, when we have adopted to popping a pill for all our ailments and symptoms, please enlighten us on the role of nutrition and what is healthy living.
Okay, so nutrition is very important because 99% of the genes in your body, genes means genetic information जो होती है, genes को सोचें software of the body. 99% of the software of your body, genes, is in your stomach and in your intestine. This genetic population is called the microbiome. So जब we put food in our mouth, then the first thing it interacts with is the genetic information in our body, the microbiome. So if your food is contaminated by toxins, manufactured food, refined, processed, containing chemicals, antibiotics, hormones, industrial meat production, all of that will cause inflammation in the genes of your stomach and your intestine, which will then cause inflammation in the body. If you want to repair the genetic information, decrease or eliminate the elimination, then the healthiest diet is what we call a plant-based diet, plant-based, vegetarian, with maximum diversity of plant-based foods, maximum color, 7 colors of the rainbow, and 6 tastes. Ayurveda में 6 tastes recognize करते हैं: bitter, pungent, astringent, sweet, sour, and salt. So if you take the 6 tastes and then 7 colors, red, green, blue, yellow, orange, fruits and vegetables, then you have the highest concentration of what are called phytochemicals. Phyto means energy of the sun. Chemicals derived from the energy of the sun, which are the basis of life on this planet. So maximum prana, maximum energy, is on those plant-based foods. Even if you eat meat, that's fine, but please don't eat meat that comes from a factory, because that contains poison. So if you eat meat, minimal, but maximize plant-based diet with maximum diversity of color and taste. vegetarian thali.
Thank you, sir. Mrs. M.K. Randhawa, wife of ACP H.S. Randhawa, asked a question. Being in most stressful area of work, how do one work being somewhat less stressful and not get affected by the outside uncontrollable or unpredictable times? And a similar question is there, sir, asked from a Delhi police employee who requested not to reveal his name. Police personnel doing field duties directly deals with the crime, criminals and common people having negative perception of the police. While dealing with such people for long term and over the period of time, personality of police personnel get affected. How should a police personnel deal with such situations?
So police, army, doctors, psychiatrists, people in the front line are always at risk and always misunderstood. So please don't, first of all, take it personally. Okay, because if you take it personally, you will be offended for the rest of your life. And that's not a good way to live. Okay, and this is true of people in the medical profession too, because we are all busy and we're trying our best, but there's a lot of trauma around us and it affects us. The only way to improve this situation is, again, what the traditional teachings of our spiritual heritage is: Seva, Sangha, Sadhana. Or what the Buddha said: take refuge in the Dharma, take refuge in the Sangha, and take refuge in the Dharma. जब सेवा करते हैं तो you feel better. अगर उसका संघा क्रिएट करते हैं, पुलिस फोर्स अपना संघा क्रिएट करते हैं, then they feel even better. And then the third thing is सेवा, संघा, साधना, daily practice. ये जो meditation की है, if we all do this together, even online, or even you say 9 o'clock tomorrow we will all do this, wherever you are, you will create a spiritual and emotional community. So we, Chopra Foundation, we have a program actually called Never Alone, neveralone.love, www.neveralone.love. Mr. Brij Bakshi, who is the ambassador of the Chopra Foundation for India, he can connect you to Never Alone, where we offer 4 practices: attention, deep listening, affection, deep caring, appreciation, deep gratitude, and acceptance of everyone just as they are. We create a Sangha with these 4 A's: attention, affection, appreciation, online and offline. And if you want, our foundation and Mr. Bakshi will help you create that Sangha with the permission of Sri Sanjay Arora. He has to agree to this, but if you like it, we can help you create an online and possibly offline version of nobody ever feeling alone. Nobody ever feeling alone. Seva, Sangha and Sadhana.
थैंक यू सर. सभागार में कोई भी पुलिस अधिकारी यदि कोई प्रश्न डॉक्टर चोपड़ा से पूछना चाहते हैं तो वो कृपया अपना हाथ उठाएं, माइक आपके पास आ जाएगा, आप सर से अपना सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. साथ साथ वेबएक्स के माध्यम से हमारे जुड़े सभी साथी यदि कोई भी प्रश्न पूछना चाहते हैं तो आप अपना वर्चुअल हैंड रेज कीजिए, हमारी टीम आपको यहाँ से अनम्यूट करने का ऑप्शन देगी, आप अपना सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. क्या सभागार में किसी का प्रश्न है? जी, सभागार में प्रश्न नहीं है. सर मैं तब तक ओके सर, प्लीज़ माइक दीजिए सर को.
Good evening, sir. My name is Inspector Ashu Girotra. You said that meditation helps, but when we start doing meditation, all kind of negative thoughts, good, bad, everything kind of thoughts come to our place. We are not able to concentrate and just ends the meditation. How do we solve this problem?
So So, very good question. जब भी meditate करते हैं, we become aware of our internal dialogue. What is that internal dialogue? I already told you. It's memory, karma, etc. You do not try to push out the thought, because pushing out the thought is also a thought. Okay? So you observe the thought. And once you become observer of the thought, then the thought is like clouds. They come like the breath. It comes, it's there, it goes. In fact, if you try to hold on to the thought, even try that. If you have a negative thought, hold on to it. And you'll see, it's impossible. So soon you'll realize you're not the clouds, you're the sky. Okay? The thoughts will come and go, just like the breath, just like sensation, just like images. They come and go. They are part of our experience of existence. So never push out thought, negative or positive, just watch it.
थैंक यू. माइक दीजिए, उधर पीछे एक सवाल है.
Very good evening, sir. I have a question. What is the difference between astral travel and near-death experience?
What is the difference
Between
astral travel and near-death experience? So,
Yes.
the word astral comes from the word star. Okay, astral, coming from the stars. Your body, your physical body, is an astral body, because the carbon, the hydrogen, the oxygen, the nitrogen, and every element in your body was made in the crucible of a burning star. So even though your body appears physical, it's not. It's an astral body, and it's a projection of your consciousness. And it is part of what we call Maya. Okay, Maya means it comes, goes. If you say, I have a body, which one? Fertilized egg, zygote, embryo, baby, toddler, which one? There's no such thing. Okay, what you have right now is an astral body. Now, in the dream state, there's another astral body. This is the physical astral body, that is the other, that's Sukshma Sharir. And in deep sleep, all of that goes away. Okay? So, astral travel and near-death experiences is also called terminal lucidity. And this happens in a few people, in a small percentage of people, but if you meditate, then you can access it. Okay? If you have meditation and you have dhyan, dharana, samadhi, and attention and intention, just said last 3 steps of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali: dharana, intention; dhyan, meditation; samadhi, transcendence. Then you can access the other astral body, which we also call near-death experience. And some people have it spontaneously before they die. Okay, they experience total clarity. They see beyond this physical realm. They have an experience of the astral dream body and the dreamscape, which is our collective loka also. It's also a dream loka, just like this is a dream loka. And that's a different frequency of the dream loka. But when people have terminal lucidity, they even have contact with people who have passed on, dead relatives and other people that they have known, and they lose the fear of death. So that is the advantage of what we call terminal lucidity. And it can be a learned phenomenon.
थैंक यू.
Thank you, sir.
वेलफेयर सेंटर द्वारका ने हैंड रेज किया है, प्लीज अनम्यूट करें. वेलफेयर सेंटर द्वारका अनम्यूट करें और आप अपना प्रश्न पूछें. सर, इसके अलावा हमारे पास ऑनलाइन जो क्वेश्चंस आए थे, एएसआई शेख पाशा ने प्रश्न पूछा है. फ्रॉम पास्ट 2-3 years आई एम फेसिंग प्रॉब्लम्स रिलेटेड टू स्ट्रेस. आई गेट वेरी स्ट्रेस्ड ऑन स्मॉल प्रॉब्लम्स एंड डेली मैनेजमेंट, and I recently noticed that I am not able to overcome my griefs and personal losses, and same thoughts are always on my mind, which makes me anxious. I am also facing sleepless nights. Please suggest me some ways to get out of this situation.
Well, this is unfortunately the pandemic of our time. Globally, there are many things you can do. One, we've already mentioned meditation. Two, also we mentioned diet. Three, exercise. Four, breathing techniques, pranayama. Five, chanting, singing, because this stimulates the vagus nerve. Six, deep breathing. Seven, awareness of the heart. Eight, mudras, kriyas, all the practices of yoga. So if you do any of these practices, you will alleviate stress, because alleviating stress is not just above the head, it is the whole body.
Thank you, sir. Welfare Center द्वारका, अपना क्वेश्चन पूछें.
ठीक है.
हाँ प्लीज सर. सर माइक प्रोवाइड करें, शायद कोई कम्युनिकेशन एरर है वेलफेयर सेंटर द्वारका से.
हेलो सर, गुड इवनिंग. आई एम सुनील.
Oh yes.
I am a very good appreciator of you. I have seen your talks on YouTube with Swami Sarpiyananda and Rupert Spira also. You please enlighten us on Atmanand Krishna Menon. Being he is a police officer and he become enlightened, what tips or what you feel meditation technique he give to manage the stress?
So the question is about a great Indian spiritual teacher called Atmanand Krishna Menon. And he brought to the world a method of meditation that is called the direct method. And he is one of the most inspiring teachers from India and a gift to the world, not presently alive. And what Atmanand Krishna Menon taught is called the direct method. Instead of interpreting an experience, just observe the experience. To some extent, Krishnamurti ji also said that the highest intelligence is the ability to observe yourself without judging yourself. But Atmanand Krishna Menon said, when you have a perception, any perception, do not interpret it. Just observe the color, the shape, the form, the sound, the smell, the taste, and soon you will realize that what you are perceiving, even as an object, so let's say take this. If you observe this without interpretation, you will feel presence of Atman here. And that experience is called beauty. And when you have that same presence, when you observe another person, that's called love. And beauty and love and truth go together. What do we call it? Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. That is the gift of Atmanand Krishna Menon in modern times.
Thank you, sir. Mike.
Here. Maharshi Mahesh Yogi's Transcendental Meditation. Here I am on the first row.
Yes.
Maharshi Mahesh Yogi's Transcendental Meditation. What is that, and is leviation a reality?
Okay, so Maharshi Ji's Transcendental Meditation was about 15 mantras, which are Bij mantras. Actually, they were derived from a bigger body of literature where there are 108 Bij mantras, and they are related to Vedic astrology. So if I know the latitude, longitude, and approximately 6 hours of time on your birth, then I can take that information, I can feed it into a computer, and I can find out which is your Bij mantra. This is what we teach in our organization, Bij mantras. And Bij mantras take you beyond thought to samadhi. So that is transcendental meditation. Then you asked, is levitation a reality? So if you read the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, there's a chapter called Vibhutis. And Patanjali talks about dharana, which means attention and intention, dhyan, meditation, and samadhi. And he says if you go there with a particular sutra, your body will lift up. And that is a reality. But it doesn't stay up long. It just lifts up, and as soon as you become aware, it comes down. Now, according to the Shastras, that's the best you can achieve in Kal Yoga. But if the collective consciousness is vibrantly enlightened, then that first stage leads to second stage called floating, and the third stage leads to flying. Now that is there in the Shastras. So I think there is some truth to that, otherwise the great seers would not have mentioned it. It's part of the yogic literature, and I have experienced the first stage in this Kal Yuga. So it's a reality.
Thank you, sir. Welfare Center, Malvinagar, please ask your question.
Hello.
हेलो, मालवीय से आप अपना प्रश्न पूछें. ओके, कुछ कम्युनिकेशन एरर है उस पार्ट पे.
हाँ, दिस है
सर.
Many times I have experienced that when I meditate, I sleep. Is there any?
There's only one reason for that. You need more sleep. So please get some rest. And if you
No,
sleep
even
well,
if it is 8 hours.
If you sleep well, you will have samadhi in meditation. Otherwise, you'll go to sleep.
Okay.
It's a sign. It's a good sign that you need more sleep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There is a question on WhatsApp. In high pressure situations, individuals often experience emotional and mental exhaustion. So what strategies can be employed to maintain resilience and prevents burnout?
The only way to alleviate your own emotional stress is to help somebody else's emotional stress. The fastest way to be happy is to make somebody else happy. And you do that by giving them attention, deep listening, appreciation, deep gratitude, affection. Tell them that you care and don't judge them. You will help them and you will help yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Jab bhi you are distressed, ask yourself, who am I thinking about? Okay? And you'll realize you're thinking about yourself. The moment you turn your attention to somebody else, you will feel better.
हमारी दिल्ली पुलिस एकेडमी जड़ौदा कला से हैंड रेज किया है, आप उन्हें अनम्यूट कीजिए. आप अपना सवाल पूछ सकते हैं. ऑडिटोरियम में किसी और को कोई प्रश्न है? वैसे इशारा मिल गया है, लेकिन फिर भी आखिरी प्रश्न मैम हम ले लेते हैं. समय की सीमा है, आई नो, लेकिन एक प्रश्न, आखिरी प्रश्न हम ले लेते हैं.
Good evening, sir. I am Uma Maheshwari. So whenever I ask what is that I want in my life, and then there are so many thoughts that arise in me. Being in my early 20s, there is something that I want today, there is something else that I want tomorrow. Then how do I zero up on what is that I actually want in my life, or what is the purpose of my life? So how do I decide it, or what is the thought process that I need to go through?
Of course, you know, at different stages of our life, we have different desires, and they follow a certain sequence. So, you know, in our Vedic system, we have 7 chakras. The first chakra is basically safety and security. Everybody wants that. Second chakra is sensation and pleasure, kama. You know, we say in our literature, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So kama is okay, pleasure is okay. The third stage is transformation and power, but self-power. The fourth stage is love and abundance and belonging. The fifth stage is creative expression and knowledge. The sixth stage is wisdom and higher consciousness, and the seventh stage is freedom or moksha. And every stage, whatever you desire, is appropriate. So don't worry about what you want. Whatever comes to you at that moment is appropriate for that moment. But ultimately, there is only one desire, and that is freedom from suffering and joy and ananda, happiness.
Thank you, sir. There is a last question, Preeti ma'am. Please, mic सामने लाएं.
Hello, I just wanted to ask, what are dreams and should one attach any importance to them?
Say that
Dreams. What are dreams? Should one attach any importance to them?
Every experience is a dream. This is a dream right now. It's a lucid dream in a vivid now. So the German philosopher Wittgenstein, he said, our life is a dream. We are asleep. But once in a while, we wake up enough to know that we are dreaming. So the purpose of a dream is to wake up from the dream. If I asked you what happened to your childhood, you would say it's a dream. If I asked you what happened to your teenage years, it's a dream. If I asked you what happened last night, it's a dream. What happened this morning, it's a dream. What happened to the moment you came to this room, it's a dream. By the time you hear these words, they don't exist. So the whole thing is a dream. Okay, what is the purpose of dream? To wake up. So when the Buddha was dying, he said, this lifetime of ours is transient as autumn clouds. To watch the birth and death of beings is like looking at the movements of a dance. A lifetime is like a flash of lightning in the sky, a dream rushing by like a torrent down a steep mountain. And so when Buddha was asked by Ananda, these were his last words. He said, are you God? Are you Messiah? Are you a messenger? He said, no. He said, what are you? He said, I'm awake. So the purpose of dream is to wake up.
थैंक यू सर. अब मैं आदरणीय आयुक्त पुलिस श्री संजय अरोड़ा सर व आदरणीय अध्यक्षा पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति श्रीमती ऋतु अरोड़ा मैम से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वे कृपया मंच पर आने की कृपा करें. निश्चित ही आज का यह सत्र हमारे सभी श्रोताओं के लिए अत्यंत लाभ देने वाला रहा है और आपके बहुत सारे प्रश्न हैं जिन्हें आप हमारे YouTube और Facebook चैनल पे पूछ सकते हैं. हम लेटर ऑन सर से और उनकी टीम से उनके जवाब आपके लिए जरूर पोस्ट कराएंगे. धन्यवाद. मैं आदरणीय आयुक्त पुलिस महोदय से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वह डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी को दिल्ली पुलिस की ओर से स्मृति चिन्ह देकर उन्हें सम्मानित करने की कृपा करें और उनका धन्यवाद ज्ञापन करें कि उन्होंने दिल्ली पुलिस के लिए यह समय निकाला. जोरदार तालियों से सर का अभिनंदन. अब मैं आदरणीय अध्यक्षा पुलिस परिवार कल्याण समिति श्रीमती ऋतु अरोड़ा मैम से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वह डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी को समिति की ओर से एक स्मृति चिन्ह देकर सम्मानित करने की कृपा करें और साथ साथ मैं मैम से अनुरोध करूंगा कि वह PFWS के सदस्यों द्वारा बनाए गए उत्पादों की एक टोकरी सर को प्रेजेंट करें एज ए टोकन ऑफ थैंक्स. ये PFWS के उत्पाद सर ये हमारे दिल्ली पुलिस के परिवारों ने अपने हाथों से बनाए हैं. दीज आर ए टोकन ऑफ थैंक्स फ्रॉम पुलिस फैमिली वेलफेयर सोसाइटी.
Thank you for your generous. Thank you.
थैंक यू. मैं समिति की सभी कोर कमेटी सदस्यों से समिति की पूरी कोर कमेटी से अनुरोध करता हूं कि कृपया वो मंच पर एक सामूहिक चित्र के लिए आ जाएं. प्लीज come on the stage for a group photo.
Okay.
And they help in welfare activities of our
Wonderful.
police family.
So wonderful.
निश्चित ही आज का यह सत्र ऑनलाइन माध्यम से आने वाले समय में भी हमारे पुलिस कर्मियों के लिए और पुलिस परिवारों के लिए निश्चित तौर पर लाभ देता रहेगा. और हमारे YouTube, Facebook और Twitter हैंडल्स पर आप अपने क्वेश्चन पोस्ट कर सकते हैं। डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी और उनकी टीम के माध्यम से उनके जवाब आप तक जरूर पहुंचेंगे। आज के कार्यक्रम के सफल आयोजन के लिए हम डॉक्टर दीपक चोपड़ा जी का, जिन्होंने इतना कीमती समय निकाला, सीपी सर और प्रेसिडेंट मैम और सभी सीनियर फंक्शनरीज, हमारे सभी सीनियर ऑफिसर्स का धन्यवाद देते हैं कि उन्होंने बहुमूल्य समय निकालकर इसे सफल बनाया। हम डीसीपी पीआरओ और उनकी टीम, डीसीपी वेलफेयर और उनकी टीम का धन्यवाद देते हैं। अब मैं आदरणीय आयुक्त महोदय, अध्यक्षा महोदया, मुख्य अतिथि महोदय और मंच सभी सीनियर से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि वह हाई टीवी के लिए कृपया बाईं ओर वीआईपी लाउंज की ओर प्रस्थान करें। All officers, additional DCSP and above are requested to join them for VIP lounge for high tea, and all inspectors and ACSP are requested to proceed towards officers lounge for high tea. All other officers are requested to proceed towards canteen for their refreshments. Thank you all for making this event successful. Thank you. Jai Hind.